I don't think a lot of times we stop to really think about why we need sleep. Like why do humans have to sleep? Everybody always likes to make comparisons. Oh yeah, your brain's like a computer. Well, computers don't necessarily have to sleep. They can stay on all the time. What is it about sleep that makes it a necessity for us?
Well, as does your brain does stay on all the time because it's been proven through sleep study that your brain actually does function while you're sleeping. So I guess to some degree that phrase is accurate. It doesn't necessarily help us much because we can't function in the manner that a computer functions. But I think there's a lot of factors as to why we don't get the recommended sleep. And I think one of those factors is stress and anxiety. Um, I think that keeps us up at night, or some of us up at night, and I think that is also a contributor to why we stay up and we scroll or we watch YouTube videos because we're just trying to find uh, a place where we feel like we can relax. I mean, we feel like playing those games late at night or the doom scroll is making us relax when in actuality it's just creating more of a situation, creating or building on that habit of uh, poor sleep habits to keep us up, keep us awake.
Gotcha. I was doing a little bit of reading beforehand too, and I was curious as to, what's happening in our body as we're sleeping. And that gave me a little bit of insight as to, why it's so important. That's when we're sleeping and we get to that level of deep sleep and we get enough sleep, that's basically our body's time to repair itself. We can heal all the time, but, like tissue repair, from a neurological perspective, consolidation of our memories. You think about all the data that we take in over the course of the day. Our brain has to sort and file and do all this other stuff to create long-term memories. That happens while we sleep. Our immune system gets boosted and maintained while we're asleep. Think processes happen to remove neurotoxins. So, the thing that it really made me think of, and I don't know how many people in our audience are maybe old enough to remember having to do this process. It's like when you used to have to defragment the hard drive on your computer. Um, for those who may not know, you have a hard drive on a computer and it used to be these spinning platters. And as those platters would spin, sometimes your data would just get spread all across there. And if it got too fragmented, it would slow down the computer because it had to search for the pieces of the information to put it all together. So you ran a defragment routine and that would consolidate all the data to make it easier to retrieve and make it so that you could be more efficient with your machine. And that's how I view sleep for us, is that it's kind of like the defragment cycle for our bodies and our minds.